For me, tones is the most difficult part in this frequency separation section. Some people is not doing this, but I believe right now when we look at the image, it looks really great compared to something we had before. However, I believe it's not everything. Some people finish their work on this level. I don't think it's enough in high-end retouch, as there is some more things we have to fix, some tones and some face colors we have to fix. So our job with skin retouch, with fixing tones, it's not done yet. Let me zoom this image a little bit, so I'm going to make this a bit more clear for you why I think it's not actually done. As you can see here on the right side of the face, you have this ugly white line. I'm not sure what exactly is that. I think the makeup is done here and it wasn't clear till the end, or maybe photographer put the lights not really correct. So that's the thing for sure we have to take care of. As you can see here on the nose area, some of the colors doesn't look that nice. For example, here is a bit too bright and this area is a bit too dark, I think. So yes, there's obviously a few elements we have to fix. And another thing here, under the lips on the left side, you have a bit too dark area, so I would like to take care of, and maybe a little bit on the neck. So basically, before I start, as you can see, I created the tone layer. However, in this case, I have to work a little bit with texture once again in correcting the tones. So to not make any mess right now, actually, about curves, we can remove this help layer. It was only for our correction, so we don't need this anymore. We can remove this layer, and I'm going to duplicate this frequency separation group. So Alt Control J to duplicate this. I'm going to call this group for now as a tones. I will change maybe a bit later, but tones seems alright. And as you can see, everything is the same, nothing changed, because this layer is linear light once again, so it's exactly the same. However, as I'm going to work a bit texture on the texture, a bit different than before, so I don't want to do such a mess on this texture layer. I prefer to make this separate, so just in case if I'm going to do something wrong, I still have that previous group, so I can start over again and again. So if I do any mistakes, it gives me discomfort. I will not destroy all of my work. So working with our tones, we're going to use brush and once again clone stamp tool in the case of working with texture. However, as you can see on the top, we have opacity and flow, and that flow is pretty much important. I'm going to use this quite much. So now I'm going to create new project to show you the difference between opacity and flow and explain why in this case, in case of high-end retouch, more likely I'm using flow at 5, 20 or even 1% instead of using opacity at 25 or 1%. So let me create a new project quickly. Can press just Ctrl Command N, and I'm going to make this brush a bit bigger. I'm going to change the flow right now at 100% to show you just the maximum of everything. How does it work? I'm using the brush. I'm going to change the color a little bit for just black color. And how does it actually work? That if we have both at 100%, we just get simple black color, no difference. We can paint many times and it will be still the same color because it's just totally black color. Now let's change opacity at, let's say, 30%. And what is happening? I'm using pen right now. The same, how does it work when you use mouse? When I press my pen and trying to paint something, as you can see, no matter how many times I paint in the same area, the color stays exactly the same, nothing is changing. When you go this way or this way, it's still the same color. As you can see, no matter how much pressure I'm going to put, it's the same color. To make this a bit stronger, I have to pull up my pen, and the same, I have to unclick the mouse, and then when I press once again and paint once again, I add another 30%. So as you can see, the color is darker right now. However, it doesn't give me this fluent work, it doesn't give me this control. So let's change the properties right now. I'm going to change opacity at 100% and flow I'm going to change at just 10%, let's say. So I used to call the flow just control option, something that gives you really good workflow, actually, we can say like this. So when we use flow and we want to work with tones, we want to add some color and we want to have really nice control, we have to put enough color as much we need. So when we work with flow, and it all depends on our pen pressure. When we just paint once, we have very soft color. As you can see, it's different it depends on the pressure. But when we move more and more, the same when we use mouse, the color is getting stronger. So for example, if I want to, in some area I want to put very soft color, I add just little pressure. But however, if we need to put a bit more pressure, we just have to paint one over and over without putting up the pen or without unclicking the mouse. So, and the color is getting stronger. So that's how flow actually works. As you can see, it all depends on the pressure. It gives us control, so it's really nice control tool actually to work with our project. So I'm going to close this right now, and we can start our work. So right now we're going to work a bit different than before we were working on our texture. Let me zoom this image at first to see exactly what we have to do. You have to get off of this ugly white line, this unnatural looking line. It doesn't look so well just on this image, so we have to get this off. It just happens. So we're going to choose clone stamp tool as we did before, and let's set the flow around 50%. I think it will be enough. It won't be too strong, but 50% is totally optimal. It's even quite strong, but in this case it's going to work really nice. So I'm going to take a clone just on the edge of it. I'm going to paint this, and as you can see, just this small move resolve our problem. This image looks totally different right now. So now I'm going to change the flow just to give myself a bit more comfort, and do this just once again, just to fix everything right. It might take a bit, but we don't want to do bad job with. Okay, I think we covered these bad areas. However, maybe over here might be too dark. If you think it's too dark, can always change blend mode from normal to lighten, and using very soft flow, let's say 10%, we can lighten up a bit the areas we don't like. So take a look. I think we did really great job about the tones here. I don't want to make this too strong, actually, to not make this looking unnatural. It's just very difficult case, so it's not happening all the time. Some of the darker colors over here. All right, I think now it looks as something I really like. So let's move to the other areas that needs to be done on this texture layer. Right here I have another white, not nice looking line. So again, as it's white, we're going to use normal mode. Stamp, and I just did wrong stamp, I guess. It's better to take from the top. So now I think it look a bit better. It's not really easy because it's actually easy to do a mistake doing this job, but okay, this looks a bit different right now as well. So let's go to the other side, and now I have some weird colors over here. So how to get them off? I'm not going to use normal mode because it will be too strong, so I'm going to change to lighten and choose the flow 10%, just very soft flow to balance the colors a little bit here. And I'm going just to paint a little bit. You can see how it's actually changing. We just soften the colors a little bit, but it's still looking natural, just small things. So after this few correction, I believe it looks way better. Here to add some accent. Okay. So we did the really bad areas. It's the most difficult, I think. Not for everyone, probably for someone who has more plastic skills it would be much easier. But we have some more spots that doesn't look so well. For example, here I have a bit dark color, so now I'm just going to switch into tones, and using this layer I'm just working on a bit bigger areas, just areas which are not so rough but just have the colors which are not suitable. So I'm going to choose the brush, and in this case I'm going to use a very soft flow, but I'm just going to use airbrush, very soft airbrush flow, just 1%. Okay. And once again, I'm going to be really careful here. Some colors that actually bothers me. So take a stamp and just be careful, don't add too much. As you can see, some weird shadows here. Just very softly. Okay, it's a very small change, but it's really important to keep the tones right. Take a look from the distance. As you can see, we have this shadow over here. We get this off a little bit. You can be surprised why I'm actually working with such a soft brush, but actually it's all about not doing any mistake. So I prefer to use very soft flow, even at 1%, and do everything right, maybe a bit slower than I suppose, but just right. Okay, I think our tones looks a bit better. If you won't be happy about something, for example, over here when I did some work next to the eye, I think I got too much this bright color, so I'm going to create layer mask on my tone group. Always use layer mask, never use eraser tool, that's obvious thing. And I'm going to try to get off this a little bit with the color black. However, as you can see, my flow is only 10%, so I'm just going to correct this a little bit, as here was some dark color which was making this nice eye contour. Alright, right now I feel I'm happy about the result, and let's move to our neck. And there will be few things to fix, the same as before. It's taken a while, I know, and the same as before, I'm going to work with texture. I'm going to repeat the same thing as I was working with the line. It's similar example. So clone stamp tool, flow, let it be 40 in this case, and mode normal. Alright, very softly. However, it's a bit darkened, so I can take down the flow down to 20%, and if I use lighten, it's going to brighten up this area a little bit. Alright, take a look. It looks a bit better. So I cannot see many of other things on the neck. I think we did really a great job with tones. Over here we don't have these colors here. Everything looks natural and correct with the area of the shadows. The last thing is, here we have this white area. We can try to work with brush a little bit more. Of course, flow at 1%. Take a stamp from this dark area and try to cover this, it's not really nice looking area, just a little bit. As you can see, it's covered a bit, so it looks a bit better right now. Okay, let's move out a bit more down here. So you can see this face over here had some really weird spots. It goes too far a bit. It's really difficult when the makeup is not done right, as in this case. Always doing high-end retouch is much easier when the makeup is really perfect. So I think we fixed most of the tones, and you have to say it was a bit of a challenge, but I think we handled this pretty much right. That was pretty much about fixes, the tone layer, and these two groups I'm going to put into the one group just to keep everything in order. Control G, and I'm going to call this correct just for now.